And now we are preempting the announcement of our new companies, giving you the inside scoop, if you will, with our next speaker, Bethany Fiore, Responsible Business Manager for William Frey. Bethany, you have your camera and microphone on. There you are. Sorry, I had you covered in a chat box window. And early congratulations to you, Bethany.
Thank you so much, Maureen. Thanks for having me here to speak today.
Oh, great, great. You're a new certification. So as a new certification, tell us, how did you find the new process?
Yeah, well, we're obviously delighted to be certified to the Business Working Responsibly mark. As Priscilla said, we found the process to be incredibly challenging, but really, really rewarding as well. We'd been working with business in the community for a number of years. And when we started, we had a great roadmap for how we wanted to expand our program from something that was really community and charity based to, a more comprehensive look, taking in environment and marketplace and workplace and governance. But like a lot of companies, as our program grew, it became more challenging to figure out which of the very worthwhile initiatives to put our time and resources into. So the mark really helped us focus. And by looking at the program through the management system lens and by working with yourself and the mark team and with all of the business and the community experts, we were really able to figure out what we were doing really well and where were the areas that we could do better and we could improve on. And I think the assessment process itself really helped us move our program on light years. I mean, we saw huge gains by going through that process and are just enjoying the efficiencies and the increased impact we're able to have as a result.
Okay, so that initial assessment, all that evidence gathering, that's part of the new process. We make you dig out all your files and show us your whole management system. That was worth it?
Yes, yeah, no, it was really worth it. It is very time consuming. And we took a project management approach to it. So I kind of took on the project management role. But we had great leadership support. And I think that's key because it will require time and it will require resources to do it. And our managing partner, Owen O'Sullivan, is a huge believer in the importance of corporate social responsibility to our business and to business in general. And his predecessor, Brian Burke, was as well. So had great support there. We have a fantastic team of senior sponsors who all really got stuck in and contributed and were excited about the possibilities and the improvements we could make. And then fantastic committees, my colleagues across the firm in all different areas who really supported the work as well. I think we often tend to jump from one initiative to another. We plan and we execute and then we move on. And the assessment process, the evidence gathering, it was a really great opportunity to pause, to recognize that we were actually doing a lot more than we realized. We were having a bigger impact than we realized. And then it helped us get some clarity on where we wanted to be and what that vision was for our business and our program. So it was really, really beneficial.
That's great. And you mentioned a couple of things. You mentioned you had a project manager that was running this. You had your leadership team support. So you had support from the highest levels. So important, so important. And then you had the structure underneath all of that with people that were willing to kind of help out through the process. So I think, to me, that's one of the keys of success for companies going through this process, that they really properly resource it, because it is a heavy lift through the whole thing. But to your point, that continuous improvement that you get as a result of it is a big benefit that comes out the other side. When a company comes to us asking for help with the business case of going through such a rigorous process, would that be what you would say around it? Or what would you say if you were in our shoes?
Well, I think, CSR isn't a nice to have anymore. It really is a business imperative. And, you know, I think it's interesting because in the past, when things would happen, like a recession or a business would go through, you know, a time where they needed to look at their budgets, CSR was often the first thing up on the chopping block, right? You know, it was looked at as this is nice to have, but not business critical. And so when COVID hit, I think a lot of people in my role thought, here we go again, you know, we've been making great progress, but we're going to have to pull back. And I think what was really interesting was that companies didn't do that. You know, they actually doubled down and they continued to invest, and a lot of them really focusing on their investment in their people, which, you know, obviously with what everyone was going through was really important. But I think for myself and other CSR professionals, we said, wow, we've turned a corner here. You know, sustainability is really part of the business now, because it's looked at as business critical and something we need to continue to invest in. And the mark, I mean, you know, Tomas mentioned it earlier, I think people, whether it's your clients or your customers or your employees, they're looking for more than just promises and PR spin. They want to see authenticity and accountability and transparency. Yeah. And that's what the mark helps provide.
Yeah, absolutely it does. And it's heartening to me to hear that you're viewing it from that perspective, that sort of genuine approach to really trying to get what is a competitive standard to help you in a competitive market. And some of those points that you were talking about in terms of the transparency, the authenticity, the accountability, those are all things that Thomas was talking about at our opening. So it definitely is, I think, part of, and we heard Priscilla mention it as well, part of the demand that's coming. The thing that I find really interesting about it as well is when COVID hit, like you said, what I thought was going to happen was exactly what you mentioned, where companies were just going to go off and focus on, you know, the kind of the, okay, what do we do to get out of here, the uncertainty of it. And instead, what we saw was this, as you correctly pointed out, doubling down of companies on their sustainability and their CSR and their strategic agendas. A lot of them have come up with new purposes as a result of this and new strategies. So it's just brilliant to see that, and very heartening. I got to say, though, it again, going back to this, it is a big lift. You know, there is a process that you have to go through. It takes, gosh, anywhere from it could take maybe as little time as a month or two. No, not really, 3 months maybe on the short side, but it can take, you know, more than a year to go through the process. Yeah. On the long side, it depends on where you're at. So were there any tense moments where you thought, oh gosh, I'm not sure we're ready for this?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's one of the things I loved as Thomas in this beginning was talking about the continuous improvement piece, you know, because I definitely had moments where I sat there thinking, but there's so much more we could be doing, and there's so much more we want to do, and maybe we should wait. And you know, in conversations with yourself and with Liz, our relationship manager, you know, what you guys really helped me to embrace was that continuous improvement is part of the mark process. It's part of good management. And so it's not about being perfect, but it is about committing to having a really robust foundation to build from, you know, and part of that is making sure you've got your measurements in place and making sure you know where you're going and what your aims are. And part of it is always stretching. And, you know, for us, achieving this mark is a fantastic step in the development of our program, and something that we look forward to continuing to build on, now that we have that really strong foundation.
That's wonderful. Well, Bethany, as always, it is a delight to talk to you. I look forward to our interim check-in next year where we get to talk about the progress.
I can't wait, Maureen. Listen, I just want to say congratulations to all the recertifying and newly certified companies.